Welcome to the Ultimate Dungeon, a sprawling treacherous labyrinth built entirely from terrain I crafted on this channel. Our heroes will have to face countless trials across 3 distinct zones, each with its own style, secrets and deadly traps. From dusty basements to flooded caverns and ancient ruins, they will push their luck, their blades and their sanity. And at the end of the path, a fearsome dragon awaits. Stay with me as we build this massive setup, room by room, and I will show you how Modular Terrain unlocks infinite adventures and storytelling possibilities.
Welcome back to HANDCRAFTED. Today I finally get to show you something I wanted to do for a long time. A full showcase of my magnetic modular dungeon system in action. You will see how it combines perfectly with my city tiles, cave terrain, water tiles and even older pieces like ruins and some scatter. I've been wanting to film this video for weeks, but honestly I didn't have the space at home to set everything up until I finally found a solution. So today we are going big, and also we've hit a big milestone. This is the first sponsored video on the channel. We will talk about that in just a bit, but for now, let's explore this epic dungeon.
For this project, I had to go get more XPS foam boards. I always tell you I get them at DIY stores, so this time I recorded. I always spend a good while checking the boards, since they often have small dents or imperfections. So I tried to pick the ones that looks the best. Loaded them into the car and drove back home. There is absolutely no space in my studio, so we're heading to the dining room. I usually set things up on this round table, but this time we're going to do it a bit different. I'm going to place the table in the center of the room and use a couple of sawhorses and the foam boards I bought to create a much larger temporary table. These boards are generally used as thermal insulation and already have interlocking edges. Normally, while I'm crafting, that's a bit of a hassle and I have to cut it off. But today it will be perfect, since it will help keep the boards from shifting. To secure the tabletop, I will use adhesive tape, so everything stays in place. Finally, we will cover it all with black fabric, and our new table is ready. Now I can build a much bigger diorama than usual, so let the fun begin! Alright, the first step is to gather the basic pieces. I'm going to use some water tiles, cave tiles, some modular ruins, cave stackers and bridges, dungeon walls and doors, dungeon tiles and a single city tile. I also want to add some height variation. Since I still have an 8 cm thick board, I'm going to use it to create a raised area. Right in front of the elevated section, we will place stackers and water tiles just below, creating a rocky wall that rises to exactly the same height as this part of the table. The curved stacker didn't work well, so in the end I decided to make the cliff completely straight. For the plateau, we will use cave tiles as flooring. Don't worry about the seams, we will hide those later. Right now I just want to build a basic layout. The other third of the table will be used for a more classic dungeon layout. I will use a city tile as the center of the main room and build the floor layout by combining different dungeon tiles. By the way, if you're new to the channel, everything you see in this video is something I teach how to make. For example, these dungeon tiles are a super fun project you can follow step by step here. We will finish creating a few more rooms and then we will move on to placing walls and doors. Yeah, that's it, time for the walls. This is my most recent project and one I'm most proud of. Just like the tiles, everything connects with magnets for quick and easy assembly. For this main room, I'm going to use the ones I decorated with dragons to give it a more epic touch. I also made functional doors, which we will use to connect to the adjacent rooms. I will leave a card with the video in case you're interested, and I will do the same for some of the most important pieces we'll be using today. In any case, you will find a full list of tutorials in the description for everything I used to build this diorama. We are going to create an overgrown torture chamber using the walls with skulls and blood splatters, combining evil tiles with overgrown tiles. And little by little, it's all starting to take shape. Let's now work a bit on the central part of the table. My idea is that this dungeon is the basement of an old ruined border outpost. These basements connect to a partially flooded underground cave system. That's why we are placing the stackers directly over the water tiles, using some stone bridges to link them at different heights. For the raised terrain area, I'm going to use a ruined temple I made in one of my early videos, accompanied by more stackers. We finish our basic layout with 3 differentiated areas: the fortress basement, the flooded caves and the ruins. Now it's time to bring life to this tabletop with more detail. Let's bring more life and color to this cave. To do that, I'm going to use mushroom clusters I made a while ago. Of course, there's a tutorial for them on this channel. For the elevated area, we will fill the space with simple modular ruins, combining different elements like stone menhirs. These are very similar to the ones I made in my very first video, except I sold those and made new ones for myself. We will also place the rock formations from the second video. This combination of different elements but with similar color palette will help create a very visually interesting area. Forgotten underground ruins with stone worn down by the passage of time, yet still full of secrets. Back to the flooded caves, I'm going to add some stalagmites to increase the level of detail. I'll show how to make this in the cave terrain tutorial, which I will link for you here. It's a video I'm quite proud of, so definitely check it out.
If you're enjoying the video so far, crush that like button and subscribe to keep the modular madness going. Leaving a comment or sharing the video, it helps a ton. It really boosts visibility and helps me grow this project. And if you want to take one step further, consider supporting me over on Patreon. That's where I share early looks, behind the scenes, bonus resources and more. Huge thanks to all my current patrons. You are the reason I can keep making stuff like this.
Now it's time for one of my favorite parts, furnishing the dungeon. First, we will use all the torture devices I made a couple of videos ago. Hanging cages, an iron maiden, a rack, the spiked chair and more. The bloodier, the better. Also, if you missed that video, I highly recommend you watching it. Especially because I show you how to create a homemade rust effect that is super cheap and in my opinion is as good as a professional product. Spoiler alert! For these 2 rooms I will be using brand new furniture, which I will show you how to build in the next video. This furniture includes some 3D printed details like small bottle clusters and wicker baskets. This ties into the video's sponsor. It's the first time I've done a collaboration like this, but more on that in a moment. Going back to the furniture, I used a combination of wooden pieces like Jenga blocks, coffee stirrers or matchsticks, along with foam depending on the piece. Most of the details are made with cardstock or plastic and metal bits, like the hinges, which probably look familiar for a door such as the one from the charge I made a few months ago. I also made a couple of different chair sets, and with that I think that we can call this room done. On this other side, I want to create a small wizard's lab. I showed how to make the magic circle in a short video, and these alchemy tables are based on a tutorial by Wylock. I will add links in the description so you can check out how he builds them. By the way, I also made the shelves following his techniques, just adapted a bit to fit my own style. Then we have some other objects I made using small plastic and metal bits a while ago. Sadly, I didn't record a tutorial for this. Maybe I will do a video in the future showing how to build magical equipment. Making magical elements is a lot of fun, since these are pieces where you can really let your imagination run wild. For example, I made this table in a short video and it's incredibly easy to build. If you're just getting started with this, I encourage you to try building a small piece like the ones you see here. That's it! I just want to place a city stacker and some stairs in the central room before moving on to the next step.
Look at all this 3D printed stuff. The amount of detail for each piece is simply amazing. We're gonna use all these pieces to fill up our dungeon.
Before we continue, a quick shout out to JLCPCB, who reached out to sponsor this video and sent me all the pieces you just seen. They specialize in high quality on-demand 3D printing, and the process couldn't have been easier. I simply sent them a bunch of STL files, most of which I grabbed from Thingiverse, and they print everything for me with amazing detail. You will find a link to their website in the description and in the pinned comment, along with links to the files I used in this project. Their service has been excellent, but one quick heads up. Make sure to check your country's import tax rules before ordering. In my case, I didn't have to pay anything, since taxes only apply over a certain value, but it's worth checking so you don't get any surprises. Putting that aside, to place an order, all you need to do is register, upload your STL files, and that's it. I left the settings as default. I just selected plastic decorations in the product description. Once you have loaded all the files, simply click on Submit Order, and after completing the payment, your order will move into the production phase. Big thanks to JLCPCB for making this possible. Here are all the pieces they sent me. Crates, barrels, chests, windows, and a bunch of small items like bottles, jars, baskets, candles, goblets, etc. Everything came carefully packed with lots of bubble wrap. These pieces are made from white SLA resin. The finish is extremely smooth and detailed, with no flash or print lines. They have a really nice weight and are quite sturdy. Yes, I did drop a couple of pieces and they are still perfectly intact. Here's a comparison with some pieces bought from Temu. As you can see, the level of detail is much lower and print lines cover the entire surface. To be fair, this is a different printing technology, and for small detailed pieces, resin is far superior. For this project, I'm going to paint all the crates, chests and barrels to fill the dungeon, and to start, we need to prime them. I covered the box with tape, sticky side up, so I could stick the pieces down and keep them from moving under the pressure of spray. And now, everything is primed. As you can see, the paint adheres perfectly. I also did a test using Vallejo acrylics with a brush and it works fine, although the spray gives a smoother and more even finish. I will paint those pieces using my usual wood color scheme. I will start by roughly painting everything that's wood with dark brown. Although for some pieces, like the chest and a few crates, I'm only going to paint with a metallic dry brush. Let's continue with the wood. A middle brown dry brush, making sure the brush strokes are always perpendicular to the wood grain. This way, we will achieve a better finish that enhances the texture of the pieces and gives a greater sense of depth. Now, let's paint some metal details like the bands on the barrels. Again, a light silver dry brush will do the job. We will finish by painting a few extra details, like the small sags in the barrel and crate clusters or the handles on the chest. We will use lighter colors to create a nice contrast. And now our pieces are ready to be placed in the dungeon. I am going to place everything we just painted in the main room. My idea is to simulate a storage area filled with crates and other containers. Honestly, they look fantastic and really bring the room to life. There was one missing detail in the central area, so I placed this fountain that I show how to do it in a short video on top of the city stacker. In the flooded area I placed a boat, which I show how to make in the Modular Docs video. I will link it here. You can also find the template on Discord and Patreon. To hide the seams in the ruins area, I'm going to use this moss from the dollar store. It will simulate brushes and shrubs and will cover the gaps between the stackers. This is coming together super well. I'm really excited about it, but I still want to add a few more details. I want to take a moment to thank all my amazing patrons. Your support truly helps keep this project alive and growing. I couldn't do it without you. Some time ago I made these rocks with spider eggs. The idea came from an old Black Magic craft video. I will drop a link in the description too. I am going to place them here and there on the cave stackers. Sorry I filmed this part badly, so it's hard to see how I place them. We're also missing a connection between the flooded caves and the ruins. I will use a wooden bridge made from coffee stirrers. There's a tutorial for similar walkways in short format, and you can also follow the one from the Modular Docs video. In the ruin central piece, I will add some Wylock style gold piles. These are chunks of foam covered in hot glue and golden glitter, stuck on with PVA. I'm doing this because these ruins are going to be a dragon's lair, and the gold piles are its treasure. I will place this Dungeons & Lasers dragon my parents gave me as a present last month, right at the top of the ruins. It looks epic. Now it's time to take some cool pictures of this project and do a little showcase of how everything looks together.
I had so much fun with this project, seeing all the different systems come together on a table. It's a reminder of why I started building modular stuff in the first place. I feel similar vibes than when as a kid I used to play Lego all the time. I am definitely planning to do another showcase like this, but with city terrain only, to see what kind of immersive layouts we can create with buildings, streets and scatter all in one cohesive board. Also, don't forget to check out JLCPCB who sponsored this video. Their 3D printing service is top notch and the pieces they send me really elevate the whole setup. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment. In the next video, we will finally dive into that furniture and dungeon dressing set I teased, with a few extra surprises. And yes, I've made custom templates for a piece I didn't show you yet that will be available for my Patreon supporters. As always, you can check out my material list down below in the description if you need tools or stuff for your projects and you want to help me a bit with no extra cost for you. Also, check my itch.io page for free maps and adventures. Now, go check out this other video or maybe the build series that made this whole dungeon possible. Thanks so much for watching and I will see you in the next one.